Hello and welcome to the official Hikvision video tutorial for setting up your brand new Hikvision Video Recorder. In this video, we will cover everything from initialization to basic everyday features such as exporting playback and configuring your recording schedule. In this example, we will be using the local interface. This is what you will have access to when working through a monitor that has been connected to your recorder. If this is the first time your recorder is being turned on, or if it has just been freshly defaulted, you will be prompted to go through the wizard. First, select your language, then click OK. Our first screen will cover our date and time settings. Here, you can set your time zone, as well as the date format you wish your time to be displayed in. When you're finished, click Next to move on. Our second screen will be for network configuration. If your recorder is connected to your network via LAN cable, it's generally okay to just enable DHCP and click Next. If the recorder needs a predetermined static IP address, you can manually fill it out instead. Third will be hard drive setup. If the drive is new, just check the box and hit the format button. Keep in mind that formatting the drive will erase all contents on it, so if the drive is from a previous system or has pre-existing data on it, you'll want to make sure that everything on the drive is either backed up or is safe to be deleted. Once done, click Next. Screen 4 is device access. Please note that this part of the setup will depend on how your cameras are connected. Cameras connecting directly to the PoE ports of the recorder should be automatically registered by your recorder. If they are not, please check to see if the cameras have a pre-existing password on them. If they do, you may need to perform a reset to get them online using plug and play. If the cameras are connected through a switch or anything else but the PoE ports of the recorder itself, you will need to manually add the cameras in. First, use the SADP tool to determine the IP address the cameras are occupying and change their IPs if necessary. Then in the recorder, enter your camera menu and select Add. Then enter the IP address and the user credentials of that camera in order to bring it into the recorder. If you cannot add a new camera because your channels are full, you will need to hit Edit or Modify Next to an existing unused channel, then override the settings of that channel instead. Our fifth and final screen will be for Hik-Connect. If your recorder is connected to your network already, you can go ahead and enable the service here. Then set your verification code and hit Finish. This concludes the wizard setup. Older recorders may have a slightly different looking wizard, but will ultimately cover the same options. In this example, we still set the language, click Apply, set the password, click OK, then like before we will set our time. Our network setup. Then be prompted to initialize our hard drive. Remember, only initialize your hard drive if it is either new or you are comfortable with any data on it being erased. Here our camera setup page is a little different, but you'll find that you will still have the option to search for cameras or add them manually. If your cameras are connected directly to the recorder's PoE ports, the recorder should be activating them on its own, and you can click Next to move on. Platform access like before can be enabled if you have a network connection. Then create your verification code and click Next. This will conclude your wizard setup. If you were never prompted to go through the wizard, either because it was disabled or because the recorder was initialized by somebody else, you can still set up everything manually. To begin, just go to System Configuration. Here we will see our time configuration, where we can set our time zone like in the wizard before. This is also useful to know in case your recorder ever loses its time. Then we enter our storage menu, then Storage HDD. Here you can initialize unit-initialized hard drives, as well as check for any errors in existing drives. Next, back into System Configuration, then Network. Here, like before, we can enable DHCP or set our IP address manually. You can also enter the Hik-Connect tab below Network to enable the Hik-Connect service. The Hik-Connect service is Hikvision's mobile application for remote viewing. Using this, you can access your recorder's live view and playback through your mobile phone. To enable the service, just flip the Enable toggle here. Then if you don't already have it installed, you can scan the QR code here with your mobile phone to download the Hik-Connect app. You can then create your verification code. The verification code, which may sometimes be referred to as the encryption key, will be necessary in order to view your device from the app. Now that your basic setup is complete, we can move on to configuring and managing your recordings. In order to set your recording schedule, you can click on Storage Management. Then you can click your Record Schedule. All Day Continuous will mean that your cameras will be recording constantly, while All Day Event means that your camera's recording will be tied to an event, such as motion, so that any time during the day that the camera senses motion, it will record. You can also set a custom schedule for either event or continuous, which would be used if you only need recordings during certain days or certain times of the day. If you choose event-based recording, we will then need to set up your events. In this example, we will be setting up a basic motion event. From the home screen of your recorder, just go to your event configuration menu. Here, you can enable the motion event, then click on the draw area icon in order to set your detection zone. This will mean that anything in the zone will trigger the event. This can be useful if you only need motion detection for certain parts of the screen. After that, just set your sensitivity. Higher sensitivities will mean it will be easier to trigger motion, so you will get more recordings, but you may get recordings of things like small animals or blowing winds setting off your motion detection. It is recommended to start high and go lower as needed. Finally, you can click on Linkage Action to determine any extra actions taken when the event is triggered. Notify Surveillance Center will send a notification to your Hik-Connect app when motion is sensed. Alarm pop-up window will create a pop-up on your screen to alert you to the event. Buzzer will cause the recorder to beep 5 times. And Send Email will send an email notification that the event was triggered. Please note that for email notifications, you will need to configure an email server first. Once your events are active, your recorder will begin to store playback footage. In order to export that footage, you can enter the Playback menu, then New and 5.0 recorders, you can use the Slice Playback tool to quickly find footage to download. Slice Playback divides footage into equal chunks that can then easily be exported by clicking the Export button. In this scenario, we have a USB drive connected to the front of our recorder that we can export the footage to. Select the folder you want to export to, then click OK, and you'll have the footage. If you need to get more exact with your playback, enter the Sub-Period Playback menu. Here you can more clearly define the time period that you need to export. Set your date, start time, end time, and camera, then hit search. Hover over the video and click on the scissor icon. Now you can make your final timecode adjustment, hit OK, then just set your export path like before and click OK when you're done. If you are on an older recorder, we will instead go through the File Management menu, set for video on the left, then enter the date, time, and camera that you're looking for and hit Start Search. Here, if you aren't sure that you need the footage yet, you can click the lock icon to ensure that it isn't deleted. You can also preview your footage to make sure it's the correct clip. Once you've decided, hit the Export button, choose Video and Log, hit OK, set your file export path, then select your file backup type and hit OK. Your footage should now be exported to your drive. After your footage has been successfully exported, you may notice that you are unable to play it with traditional media players. This is because Hikvision security footage uses a video codec that is not commonly found in most computers and must be played with our VS Player. If you do not have the VS Player, just go to our website at us.hikvision.com, then hover over Support. Click on Tools. Click View all the tools, then click the VS Player that's appropriate for your system. Once the download is complete, just double-click and run the installer. When the VS Player launches, you can then open your video files and watch them normally. If you need the files to be playable in situations where it is not feasible to install the VS Player, you can convert the video by clicking on our toolbox icon, then selecting Convert. Hit the plus sign to add the video you wish to convert. Then select the target format. The most commonly accepted format is MP4. You can then set your browsing path and click Start. Once the process is finished, you'll see that your new file is now playable by traditional media players as well. Thank you for watching this Hikvision video tutorial about setting up your Hikvision network video recorder for the first time, as well as performing basic everyday functions. Please be sure to leave a like if this video helped you and subscribe for more Hikvision video tutorials. If there is anything we missed, or if you feel like anything needs to be explored further, please leave a comment and let us know what you would like to see next. Your feedback is valuable to us.